Let's have a look at some of the best 3D menus found in PS1 games. Watch till the end because the last few are going to blow your mind. Or just skip right now because examples leading up to them are not that great. It's just filler content stretched video. Anyway, I'm going to start the video with Medal of Honor, which actually doesn't have a 3D menu. Oh great, clickbait. What did I tell you? Although the menu is made out of pre-rendered images except for this guy, it tricked my younger brain so well that I was sure it's 3-dimensional before making the video, so I had to add it to the list. Look how pretty it is. So even though it's not technically 3D, it creates a convincing illusion and each selection has its own sound effect, which is nice. Next up is Time Commando, which has a real 3D menu. Besides that, I don't have much to say about it. It's a pretty simple menu with some spinning objects. Ghost in the Shell has a simple ring-shaped menu with a 3D model of the controller and memory card, and oh my god, what is going on in the background. Let's move on to something less dizzying. Cardinal Sin also has a ring-shaped menu. It's quite basic apart from this toilet paper roll animation, which is cool. Shadow Master kicks both previous games' asses with this cool looking menu. The only issue I have is that it doesn't say what each option does. I guess everyone with a functioning brain can figure it out, but still it's a bit odd. Tomb Raider 3 has another ring menu. Well, at least this one looks great. Each option has its own 3D object, and look at that, it even tells you what you're about to select. Nanotech Warrior is the only example where the text itself is 3D, and that means it's better than all the games before it. It also has one of the best looking models of a PS1 controller I've seen. It also has 3D sliders. Sentient has cool camera animations, and just like Nanotech Warrior, it also has 3D sliders. The controller model looks messed up probably because I'm emulating the game. In Pitfall 3D, the menu is placed on a mountain and the character moves around depending on which option you select. It looks nice and the animations are not too long. Snowcross Championship Racing has a really modern looking menu in my opinion. I think you could use it in any racing game nowadays and it wouldn't look out of place. Just imagine it without the PS1's limitations. The way the menu options bend, that's really interesting. Each option also has a clean looking 3D model. Forget what I said about Nanotech Warrior. This is the best looking model of a PS1 controller I've seen. Honestly, I didn't expect to find such a well put together menu in a racing game from the 90s, because most of them look like that. Nightmare Creatures 2 has probably the most aesthetically pleasing menu. It's not too cluttered and is very responsive, which isn't always the case with 3D menus. Each option has its own animation and even the main character reacts to what you might select. Past these 4 options, the rest of the menu is 2-dimensional, which is a shame. I wish it had a little 3D object rotating in the background for each menu item like in some of the examples you saw earlier. You saw them, right? You didn't just skip ahead. And lastly, Winner's Circle has the most 3Dest menu ever on the PS1 I think. Even though the text itself is 2-dimensional, everything else here is 3D, so it counts as a 3-dimensional menu, okay? I don't wanna hear about it in the comments. Although more 3D isn't always better because such menus usually slow down the navigation, but in this case you don't just tweak some settings. You get to interact with your horse. You can feed it, clean its poop, and do other stuff that I'm not sure has any meaning other than bonding with the creature. And it's a slow game, so it's not a big deal. You can also customize the blonde girl. You can change her clothes and preview them in 1990s real time. You can buy more junk at the shop, which is also 3D. If this game was released today, you can bet your ass you could use real money to buy stuff in the shop. Luckily, this game was released in a time when games were flawless and pure. If I missed a PS1 game with a really cool 3D menu, then comment below and there is a 0.1% chance that I will make another video.